Okay, now y'all, thank y'all so much for tuning in to an episode of All Scoring, No Defense. And after a crazy weekend in sports, let's get into it. Okay, so this weekend, the Cleveland Cavaliers agreed to buy out center Andre Drummond, and the Los Angeles Lakers are expected to sign Andre Drummond. Now, this is an underrated move. Andre Drummond is a two-time All-Star, and let's be honest, the Lakers can use all the help that they can get. The Lakers need all the help that they can get right now. And yes, Andre Drummond can't shoot at all. But in the paint, that dude is dominant. Just get this. The Lakers currently rank 9th in the NBA in rebounds per game at 45. But they're only 17th in offensive rebounds with 10. Andre Drummond by himself averages 4 offensive rebounds a game. That's third. So that's already how that's already a positive in how this man is contributing to the team. He almost has half of their offensive rebounds, and he's third in offensive rebounds. But now that they have 3 big men, we can all agree that Montrezl Harrell is the most talented offensively. But with Montrezl Harrell, he is undersized at 6'7", if we're being honest. Montrezl Harrell is undersized for the biggest defensive assignments in the middle. And Marcus Gasol has been very disappointing. But with Drummond is going to help this team, especially in the playoffs. Because last season, Anthony Davis spent 60% of his possessions playing at the 5. And Anthony Davis has came out and said he does not like playing the 5. But with Drummond in the middle, Anthony Davis doesn't have to worry about all that contact in the paint. So now, this helps the Lakers even more. Because if we're being honest, outside of Giannis Antetokounmpo, honestly, I don't believe no one in the NBA has the foot speed or the lateral quickness to keep up with Anthony Davis. So now you have Drummond along with Anthony Davis, and Anthony Davis bringing defenders out into the perimeter where he can easily blow by them or he can shoot over the top of them with that nice mid-range jumper that he has. This is going to be great. But another thing that I also have to mention is who you play with matters. Your contemporaries matter, especially in basketball. Last season, before Dwight Howard joined the Lakers, nobody wanted nothing to do with him. And we saw he got traded from team to team to team. But he goes to play with the Lakers and LeBron James and then the media is like, oh my gosh, Dwight Howard is having a comeback season. Dwight Howard for comeback player of the year. Dwight Howard this, Dwight Howard that. But you don't forget, Dwight Howard played with LeBron James. Playing with LeBron James is going to help Andre Drummond tremendously. Because you forget, Andre Drummond is only 27 years old. In my opinion, I think this will be Dwight Howard 2.0. Here's why. Andre Drummond on the season is averaging 18 points with 14 rebounds. Okay. And did you know since entering the NBA in 2012, Andre Drummond has 44 20-point games and 20 rebound games. Get this. This is the most interesting part. The rest of the league, the rest of the NBA only has 15. And Drummond also is a 4-time leader in rebounding. That's big. That's going to help this team out tremendously. Then you get it. Andre Drummond is one of 20 players in league history to record 9,000 career points, 8,500 career rebounds, 850 steals, along with 950 blocks. So you telling me this isn't going to help the Lakers team at all? And defensively, this is going to help this team out as well because Andre Drummond is a capable shot blocker. And in the paint, especially in the playoffs, you know it's not going to be easy to score. We all know that because the game is going to get tight. And in the playoffs, the game slows down. You have guys getting back on defense because now you're playing for a championship as opposed to the regular season where you're just playing for seeding. So I love this move for the Los Angeles Lakers. But what I also want to mention is what I want to talk about. Drummond is going to help this team. Drummond is going to help this team from a physicality because another thing that stays with Andre Drummond is he is actually a very physical player. He's a more physical player than I thought. So I like this move. But that's not all for this episode. We're about to go to commercial break, and when we come back from commercial break, I'm going to discuss the Brooklyn Nets. I'm going to discuss the Brooklyn Nets signing LaMarcus Aldridge. So, crowd, take it away for me real quick. Okay, we're back from commercial break. And another move that I didn't like over the weekend that happened was the Brooklyn Nets signing LaMarcus Aldridge for the rest of the season. Now, I'm 20 years old, and whenever I go to a buffet, such as CC's, Golden Corral, etc., I have to remind myself, Tyus, don't let your eyes be bigger than your mouth. It may look good, but are you actually going to eat it or are you actually going to need it? And this is the same sense that I have with the Brooklyn Nets getting LaMarcus Aldridge. Yes, LaMarcus Aldridge is a 7-time All-Star, but there was a reason why in San Antonio, Jakob Poeltl was getting more minutes than LaMarcus Aldridge. LaMarcus Aldridge's defense is terrible. And I get the fact that he made an All-Star team a long time ago, but since then, he hasn't been the same player. Like this year, he's only averaging 12 points a game. And you put that alongside Blake Griffin, someone who's never been a defender, along with James Harden, who, we can all agree he kind of fizzles out in the playoffs. Kyrie Irving, and with Kyrie Irving, let's be honest, we don't know where the Kyrie Irving's mind is at. And, I'm just being honest. And you at home, you're probably saying the same thing. Along with Kevin Durant, who's, we all can say is, sensitive to the media. But I do get the notion of, kind of like last year, you guys remember how when the Clippers went out and signed the Morris twin, they didn't really need him, but it's kind of like we got him so no one else can get him. I get that kind of sense, but here's where I think LaMarcus Aldridge will help the Brooklyn Nets. Spacing. LaMarcus Aldridge is still, at 35 years old, is still a capable mid-range shooter. So I think that is how you help him, but overall, I didn't like this move at all. If anything, I think this brings them backwards as opposed to forwards because LaMarcus Aldridge is not that same capable scorer that he was in Portland. And I just don't know. I just don't agree with this move. But we'll just have to wait and see because as far as this episode, that's it. So if you're new, make sure you subscribe because as you see, I make new episodes and new content every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I try to no later than 5. I try to drop the content no later than 5. But I am a college student. Now, if you like this episode, I'm pretty sure you're going to like my previous episodes. So if you can, check them out. Bye.